Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There is Superman Norman Chan driving in reverse yet again. Let's go see if we can tune into him during the pre-race, or at least the last minute of practice here. Looks like he is trying to complete a lap in reverse. Let's see if he can pull that off while we're talking about him. He was the last season's champion here in the Outcast Independent League's SR8 series, so I guess he's earned the right to drive a lap or two in reverse tonight. And we are back here at Daytona International Raceway for the Radical SR8's 35 laps of pure insanity tonight. This will get a bit crazy. These cars draft extremely close to each other. Last time we saw them race 3 wide, 3 deep, all the way around the track for 30 plus laps, and tonight they'll do it again for 35 laps. It will be a bit crazy. It will be a bit insane. As a lineup for qualifying, I will tell you the fastest lap in practice was 57 seconds dead. That was pulled off by James Belair. As we see Norman Chan going out to qualify right now. Yeah, we'll do 2 laps of qualifying. We'll go over the race facts just a little bit. Daytona International Raceway. 2.5 miles with 31-degree bank turns, 18-degree bank tri-oval, and 2-degree banked backstretch. They will have 2 fast repairs. They will have unlimited tires. They will have unlimited fuel, and they will have 2 green-white checkers. Now, what makes this interesting is these Radical SR8s have 380 plus horsepower. They weigh just 1,435 pounds, so they're extremely light, and they have enough downforce, as we've mentioned before, that they can theoretically drive upside down with a driver and a full tank of fuel. That is how much downforce they produce. That also means on a track like Daytona, they punch one heck of a hole in the air. That is how they are able to draft so well and so close without having any problems. One of the interesting things we noticed last time is that they could drop back almost 3/4 of a second and still hang in the draft. They could suck right back up to the lead pack with minimal effort. We'll see a couple of guys. I know at least one driver will be hanging out off the back tonight. He is going to be attempting to stay safe, stay out of trouble, and see if he can be there at the end. And we'll have some drivers that will charge from the front, trying to win it from the word go. Last time we were here, we did see a couple of guys dicing it up front the entire time. And at the end of the race, the winner actually came from way in the back, managed to drive by on that third line using the side draft, and they finished the race 4 wide. So we'll see if they, in practice, they were doing some 4 wide practicing. So we'll see if we have any 4 wide racing here. And when it's all said and done, we will try and talk to the winner after the race. It looks like just about everybody's done qualifying. They have only 12 drivers out. This is the first one of the season. And this will be one heck of a season broadcast right here every Wednesday night. We also have the Outcast Dirt Leagues 305 and 358s broadcast on Monday nights. So look forward to tuning into those. They had a heck of a race in the 305s, and they had a lot of fun and an interesting race for certain in the 358 big blocks at Eldora on Monday night. You can find those videos from those 2 races on Facebook and, of course, on YouTube. We are also broadcasting live on Twitch, so you can check us out there as well. as we have just a few minutes left in qualifying. Talk about some of the drivers. Gerald Thanos Poole qualified on the pole tonight, and of course Superman Norman Chan, let's see, he qualified about 8th place. We'll go over the entire running order, but we do have a family team here. Edward Belair in the 007 car, James Belair in the 90, and it looks like the third Belair is not with us tonight. But we also have some new names out there like Mike Killenbeck. We didn't see him in the last season. And we have guys like Doug Mr. Excitement Thomas. He is starting back there in the 13th place in the number 5 car. He will be one to watch as well. He is quite fast in these cars and does quite a good job maneuvering around in the draft. Looks like everybody has done qualifying, so we might get started a little bit early tonight. We will see how this one plays out. And hopefully during the race, Norman Chan does not try and go backwards again. We will try and make a video of Norman Chan's attempts to go backwards in the practice session tonight and post that to YouTube as well. That was a bit surprising to see that, but at one point he had some help with that effort. So we'll see how this all plays out. Now last time, as I said, they did finish 4 wide. It was only at the finish that they were 4 wide because right after the finish line they crashed. So we will definitely see some 3 wide racing. I don't know if they will attempt to make it 4 wide, but they will be 3 wide all the way around the track. It is an extremely exciting race. Something you definitely want to stick around and watch. As we are getting ready up here in the booth, we've got just a few minutes left of qualifying. We'll run down the qualifying order here momentarily. We will have a 35-lap race in these cars. 2 fast repairs. They have unlimited tires and fuel, but these cars do not need the tires or the fuel. They can go the whole distance. Talladega, it gets a little bit dicey on the fuel, but here at Daytona, they should be able to make it just fine the 35 laps around this 2.5-mile track. They do have 2 green-white checkers available if needed, but if they hit the green-white checkers, I can promise you we will see pit stops for fuel. They did go a large portion of the last race under green, and the leader was different almost every lap. It was a 3-person battle up at the front. And as we start this new season, you know these guys are going to want to get up front, get those points, and hopefully get a good start to the season. None of these guys want to finish towards the back at the first race of the season. Some of the drivers to watch are Doug Mr. Excitement Thomas. He's one to watch. He is going to be starting in the back in 13th, but he will charge to the front as he did last time, as we saw him do at Indy. He is one to watch. He will come from the back very quickly. However, you've got Superman Norman Chan back there, and he was the champion last season. He's starting in 8th. And Gerald Thanos Poole, who finished 2nd in the last season by just, I believe it was 2 points. Just barely missed out. That was a close race. We were calculating points the entire last lap. Minute and a half to go. We'll run down the running order. Tonight, starting up front will be the 63 of Gerald Thanos Poole, followed by the 447 of Mike Killenbeck, the 007 Belair, Edward Belair, the number 1 of Brian Mansfield, Mason Neal in the 49, Christopher Rawlings in the 01, the 44 car of Michael Whiting. 8th place is the number 14 of Superman Norman Chan. The 95 of Mark Belair is 9th, and the 79 of Thomas Rule III is in 10th. The 333 of Corey Goodall, the 15 of Micah Thomas, 90 of James Belair, 5 of Doug Thomas, Douglas McLaughlin in the 21 is number 15, and the 22 of Chris Standridge, excuse me. He will start last in the 16th spot. And it looked like Chris actually did an intentionally slow qualifying lap. I do believe that was his intention, to start in the back, stay in the back, maybe get a little help drafting to stay with the pack and see what they could do with this. So we will see if Chris can make it to the front. This is the Outcast Independent League, the Michael Grainold's SR8 series. Want to thank Outcast and Michael and the whole group, Chris, Standridge, several others. Want to thank all of them for having us on board to call these races. And now it's time to see if that number 63 still has his Infinity Gauntlet on the front. And he does. We will also be, once they get going and get up to speed, we'll be going through the field looking at all the different paint jobs, and we will do a ride along a lap of this track. They do these laps in about 58 seconds solo, but in the draft they do about 57 seconds. And they can go a little bit faster if they get way back towards the back and draft their way up. We saw some 55-second laps last time around. As we wait for the pace car to roll off, we'll tell you that these races are brought to you by B-Make Designs and MotoWear International. Definitely go check out both of their websites. MotoWear International has some great gear, and B-Make Designs does some great design work. So definitely go check them out if you're in the need for any gear, or if you are looking for a graphic designer. Now we are at Daytona, and they will be drafting 2 inches apart, so we do have to worry about the big one. And as I mentioned before, the big one in the last race came as they roll off pit road for their 1 pace lap. The big one came, and we got the cone taken out. Good job, Mike. The big one came on the last lap as they crossed the start-finish line 4 wide. I would not be the least bit surprised to see a 4 wide finish again tonight. I do expect to see some 3 wide racing. And with 18 cars on the track, I do expect that they will be 3 wide and about 5 to 6 deep very quickly after this start. This start will be controlled by Gerald Thanos Poole. Thanos will be leading them down and take the start on the green flag. Any future restarts go on the leader. As they pace down the backstretch, looks like they're getting into 3 and 4. Looks like they got a little spread out back there in the pack, but they're going to be tightening up here any minute. Getting ready to go green. Well, another car to watch tonight will be the 49 of Mason Neal. We'll go take a look at Mason real quick. He is that tie-dye colored car. He is definitely one to watch, as he has a habit of hiding out, being quiet right in that top 5, and then being there at the end. And green flag is in the air. Thanos leads them down. Looks like Mike Killenbeck is going to fall in line. Going to see if they can get a single file line and break away from this pack, but they aren't going to get far. Mason Neal right back there behind them, and they are too wide. These cars do produce a ton of side draft, so you will see these guys get real close side by side, especially in the later laps. As we've got a pack broken away and a pack a little bit further back there. Looks like the 22 of Chris Standridge, Doug McLaughlin back there, and they're pulling their pack back up towards the front. So they're going to come back up there and join Superman Norman Chan back there. And we will start seeing some of those guys start to move up. We saw this last time where they broke off into two packs, one pack in the back, playing a little safe. And it looks like Mason Neal's got a problem. No, he is dropped. He dropped to the bottom. And that's another interesting thing you see. As you watch them come through 1 and 2, they have so much downforce, they can put those left side tires down on that apron, and even with the uneven banking, they can still hold their line perfectly fine. As they come through 3 and 4, we're completing lap number 2. It is still Thanos Poole up front, but now we have Brian Mansfield on the outside, and he's got quite a line going with him. And we did see a lot of, in the last race here, we saw these guys testing the water, so to speak, in the early laps, trying to see what they had to do to get that nose out front at the start-finish line. Looks like Brian Mansfield has figured it out already. He knows what he has to do. As they're starting to get 3 wide in the middle of the field, nope, they backed out of it before they got to the turn. Looked like that was Michael Thomas back there, looking at 3 wide, thought better of it. Chris Standridge right behind him. And let's drop back here to the 007 car. That is Edward Belair. He is hanging out off the back, still within drafting range of the pack in front of him, and they are still within drafting range of that front pack. So that's going to come into play. He's going to stay back there and stay safe. Another thing they have noticed is that, especially at Talladega, it became a fuel mileage race towards the end, and the person that led the most laps was short on fuel. So we'll see if Gerald decides to drop back or if he stays right where he's at, leads the entire field. Should be able to go the distance, but we thought he'd be able to go the distance back last time they were at Talladega, and he couldn't. Now this is the legacy version of Daytona. That means it is a bit bumpier. And believe it or not, even with these high downforce cars, that does come into play. You'll see these guys start bumping and banging around. And as we come to the line, we're going to hop in the car with Chris Standridge so you can see what a lap around here looks like in the draft. You see them even using a little brake to stay off of each other. Getting a little dicey already there, boys. As he crosses the start-finish line and goes down into 1 and 2. Now these cars are European built. That's why they are right-hand drive. And it does, some of the drivers have said it does mess with your depth perception when you're used to driving on the left side of the car. Messes with how close you can get on both sides of the car. And it looks like somebody up there has already been getting a little bump drafting because there is some damage to that blue car. Believe that it is Christopher Rawlings up there. I could be mistaken. Nope. Hard to tell from this angle who that is. As we've got him looking 3 wide coming out of 4. That is a lap of Daytona in a Radical SR8. And you saw the brake lights coming on. They stay full throttle, but just get on the brakes just enough not to rear end, as we're seeing 3 wide already. And we do have some new paint jobs for this season, so we'll be having to learn some of those. That's the 95 of Mark Belair. Edward Belair is 2 cars back from him. And we will hop back up and see they are still 3 wide. And last time around when they got 3 wide, that middle line was the fastest, but they have to have 3 good lines to make that work. And right now you got 2 good lines and somebody hanging out to the outside. Can't quite tell who that is. There is Mason Neal. He is one to watch. He's dropped back to drive a little bit on the safe side. And lest we forget, there is Michael Graynolds. This is his Radical SR8 series. Want to thank him for putting this on. I know all the guys in the league really appreciate it. They love racing these cars, especially at tracks like this. It's a lot of fun for these guys. As we jump back up front, trying to get a look at the number 5 of Doug Mr. Excitement Thomas. There he is. Second car in the outside lane. And don't expect him to be there long. He started in 14th. I told you he would be one to watch. He is already up here being scored in about 5th. We'll see if he can get that car to the front. But it is still, after 8 laps, Gerald Thanos Poole leading him around. And this back straightaway is where we see a lot of excitement start to happen. They tend to hold it pretty steady from turn 3 down into turn 1. But when they come out of turn 2, that's when they start slicing and dicing, trying to get through the field as quickly as possible. And coming out of turn 4, as you see, it looks like somebody was down there on the apron for a split second, completely down on the apron. They do have a yellow line rule in effect tonight. And as we saw at Indy in these cars, they, on the last lap, all rules go out the window and they will duck as low as they can to try and get that win, and it gets a little bit insane at times. And we got Matt Stewart in the chat cheering on Brian Mansfield. There is Brian Mansfield in the 1 car, currently being scored in 6th position. They're the 3rd car back on the outside line. And already starting to look like he was looking to the inside just a little bit. The car in front of him is weaving back and forth. Don't give these guys an opening. They will put a car in there. If they can fit the car, they'll get it in there. Oh, getting a little bit close there at the front. These guys are taking it quite a bit easier than last time. Last time, by now, we saw them, and these cars can take a beating. They're so well planted that they were banging into each other through the turns, down the straightaways, trying to get every little bit of momentum, every little bit of side draft they could. I am surprised that after 10 laps we are still 2 wide. I saw a little smoke there. Not sure. It looked like somebody was blowing up back there. We'll see as they come past the start-finish line. We'll check the scoring, try and figure out who is blowing up, and see. They do have, like I said earlier, they do have 2 fast repairs, so we'll see if they can get back out here and hopefully get some laps back, get back into the lead pack. Looks like it was Corey Goodall in the 333. He is dead on the back straightaway, getting a tow to pit road. And yes, iRacing does have random breakdowns, so it is possible to blow one of these up, lose a transmission, lose a tire. And I can tell you from experience, if you lose a gear at any track, especially if it's third gear, you're going to have a rough day. Even on these big ovals, trying to get to fourth gear from second is not enjoyable. And here comes Superman Norman Chan to the inside. He is moving it back up there. He'd been hanging out in the back for a little bit. And there's a 22 of Chris Standridge. He originally said he was going to hang out in the back till about lap 30 and then come charging forward. Looks like he changed his mind. In the 21 there is Doug McLaughlin in that green and yellow. And right behind him there is Michael Graynolds. He's kind of sitting back there, keeping a little bit of a gap in that blue and yellow car. There's Michael. He has a tendency to do this. He'll hang out, leave himself a little gap, time to react, and at the end of the race, he is there. So we'll see if he can pull back up to the front before this is all said and done. Looks like it is still Thanos leading him around. As we come down 13 laps, he's led all but one of them. According to scoring, he's led all but one lap. And weirdly enough, these are not the fastest laps they will run tonight. Actually, the fastest lap so far tonight has been run by James Belair with a 56.6. He is currently back there in 14th. One thing you will see, these guys hanging out at the back. Now that we've got a few laps in, they're seeing what their cars feel like. You'll see a couple of them that'll drive from the back through the field as far up as they can and then drop back again. They are experimenting for what may come at the end of the race. Doug Thomas is still leading the outside line, the number 5 car. Didn't get a good look at his car before the race. Trying to see. What paint job he has tonight. Carbon and stars. Very cool. Michael Whiting right there behind him. You've got Gerald Poole, Mike Killenbeck, and Mason Neal there on the inside line. And it looks like Doug Thomas and Michael Whiting are leading that outside row. And while it's been pretty calm this first 15 laps, it's in about 5 more laps, it will start getting a little bit more exciting. This is actually pretty tame for one of these races. These guys are definitely taking this season a lot more seriously and a lot more carefully. Last time they were here at Daytona, they were 3 wide most of the race. The front top 10 most of the race was 3 wide and 3 deep. And while they're going around, just tell you to go and like, share, and subscribe to the Twitch channel, the Facebook channel, and the YouTube channel. All the links are on the Facebook page, and you can find these broadcasts on both Facebook and Twitch live. And the videos will be on YouTube later on that night or the next day. For these, it'll be later tonight. For the Monday nights, it usually takes till the next morning to get them all processed and uploaded. That's a lot of racing. And they had some great racing Monday night at Eldora. In the 305s and in the 358s. 16 laps completed, and we are still green, but it looks like there is somebody off the back right now. It might be the 113 of Danny Chandler. Let's go take a look. It is. We've got two cars back here. It's the 113 and the 79, I believe, of Thomas Rule. Yes. Thomas Rule the third there in the front, and Danny Chandler right behind him. Danny was a force to be reckoned with Monday night in the dirt. Not sure if this is an intentional layback or not. They are back a little bit further than you would expect. Edward Belair there in the 007, he's the next car, and their little group there, about 4 cars, they're hanging back about the right amount of distance. They're about 2.5 seconds back from that main pack. You can still see that main pack up there. Currently the 10th place car, Michael Graynolds, he's sitting back there leading the guys, staying back and playing it safe. And it is still Gerald Thanos Poole at the front. And there is Gerald. Gerald is probably one of the funniest guys in the league. He is a ton of fun to race with. He is just always a hoot. And he's a great guy. He puts on a lot of the fun races that the league does, and a lot of fun running with him, a lot of fun talking to him. And hopefully we'll see him pull off a championship this season. He was very, very, very close. I believe he ran out of fuel at, I'll have to look back, one of the super speedways, I believe at Talladega, or he might have sealed the championship there, and when they went to the final race, it was just not enough. Especially after the Dover race, where it was really insane. But right now, as they complete, they are halfway through. Caution free so far. After 18 laps, still caution free. That is impressive. These guys are definitely being a lot more careful this time. We're not seeing the beating and banging that we saw before. But just know that these guys can do it, and they probably will. As they, as they go into turn 3, not a lot of change up front. Other than the number 5 car, Doug Thomas, hanging out there up front. He is, he started 14th, is up to 3rd. Michael Thomas started in 12th, up to 4th. He's there in the 15 car. That yellow and black car right behind Doug. And you see they're starting to get a little bit closer, trying to get a little bit more of that side draft, especially up there in the front. As we've got one coming off pit road now. We'll see if that comes into play as he gets up here. I do believe that's the 113 of Danny Chandler. Yes, it is. Watch him for a moment because he is about to be run over. So hopefully he'll be able to get out of the way, slide back into the pack, and because here comes a hungry pack of cars. I guarantee you they are communicating with him, telling him where to go right now. Probably see him jump up to the high line. Now he is staying way low below the yellow line. Well, nope. We'll see, they are closing in on him. Thought they would have grabbed him by now, but And you see these cars moving around a lot. It is due to the bumpiness of the track, and part of it's just due to the drivers looking for some momentum somewhere. As we are at 14 laps to go, we should start seeing, it looks like the rear pack is starting to close up. There is Michael Reynolds. He's closed to within a second of that lead pack now, and he is closing in on them quickly. Looks like when he got to the back straightaway, he didn't close in quite as quickly as we expected, but he is starting to pull back in. He was about 2 seconds back just a couple of laps ago. Looks like he is maintaining a 1 second distance from the pack in front of him, so he's still playing it safe for another 4 or 5 laps. And they are lined up 1 and 2. Thanos and Mike Killenbeck are single file. The outside line has fallen back just a little bit. And they're about to pick up Danny Chandler coming through 1 and 2. Danny drops below the yellow line, getting out of the pack's way. And they are starting to spread out, looking for faster ways around. Gerald got a little bit high. I know Mike was looking like he might try and go to the low side. Gerald just teasing him that he's going to open up the door, but that will never happen. And you can see some of these guys have started to get some damage on the backs of their cars. That is due to, yes, they do bump draft in these cars. There's a 22 of Chris Standridge. He's got some damage from bump drafting on his car. It looks like the 14 of Superman Norman Chan, he does not seem to have any quite yet. As we see the momentum starting to pick up on the outside, and it looks like whoever is in front of looks like Mason Neal is okay, but the car in front of him has been bump drafted just a little bit. Mason's laying back. We've seen him do this in a couple of races. When it gets later in the race, he will lay back to see how far back he can get, what kind of run he can get, what kind of momentum he can get. We'll watch him for a moment, see if that is what he's doing. They are still too wide up towards the front. It looks like they are back too wide at the very front. Doug Thomas and Gerald Poole both side by side again. Michael Reynolds has closed up his gap to 0.8 of a second, so he is starting to close in as they come to 10 to go. Mason Neal currently being shown about 1.3 seconds back. We'll see if he starts to turn it up to go back to the front now. Just remember where Mason Neal was with 10 laps to go. And it looks like the 15 is running the same paint job. That is Michael Thomas. He's running the same paint job as Mason tonight. That won't be confusing at all this season. And you see they are starting to get closer and use that side drive. The 21 drops down on Superman Norman Chan, and the 22 of Chris Standridge, I do believe. No, that is the 10. Have to get a look and see who that is charging to the front. And here we go. Business just picked up. 9 laps to go. We're 3 wide, 2 deep, and the third line is did not like having him up that close to him and pushed him back down. As they come through the tri-oval, that bottom line has the momentum on the straightaways and seems to have it through the tri-oval, but we'll see if this new third line will do anything with them. If that outside line gets enough momentum, they could drop down and take the lead very easily. But there's only 2 cars up there right now. I would expect to see a couple cars move to that outside line very quickly. Getting up by that wall, using that air bubble to help cut down on the wind resistance. And looks like the speeds have picked up just a little bit too. Gerald was running in the mid 58s. He's now running a 58, pretty much 58 flat. Oh, the 21 bump almost got into the wall. Looks like he managed to save it. As Doug McLaughlin. And Mason Neal has not pulled back up yet. Kind of surprised by that. Back in 2 lines for the moment. 21 did not lose any momentum coming through the tri-oval, so he is still with them. Dropping down to the inside line. The last race they had cautions and did not have to pit unless they wanted to. They've not had a caution yet. 6 laps to go. Should be able to go the distance on fuel, but they've been pushing awfully hard. Some of these guys back here have been drafting and taking it easy. We'll see if this becomes a fuel race or if they make it to the end and have enough gas left to celebrate. I will tell you, if the winner runs out of gas, they will help him celebrate. We have seen them do that as well. One of the drivers will come back around and help push him to somewhere he can get some donuts in. On Monday nights in the Dirt League, they celebrate by running each other over and sending each other flying into the air. It is a genuine yeet session and very, very cool. It was actually quite funny to watch for the first time. Harley Barletta, yes, this is extremely fun. And we will have the dirt cars back again next Monday. 305s followed by the 358s. The 305s will be at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. The 358s go live at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. And these guys will be here every Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Five laps to go. We will start seeing them get a little bit dicey. Norman Chan starting to move back up. And it looks like that 21 car, Doug McLaughlin, he was kind of looking to the inside, but he's got one to the outside. I believe that is... The 01 of Christopher Rawlings going up the middle there. And we've got the outside line forming as well. They are 3 wide and 3 deep. We will see them more than likely 3 wide the rest of the race. The question is, will anybody try 4 wide? They will on the last lap. Take a big, deep breath because it's about to get crazy. 4 laps to go. They do have 2 green-white checkers available. Oh! Doug Thomas slid up just a little bit. Oh, Gerald got pushed up out of line. Looks like Mike Killenbeck moves into the lead. Gerald Poole seems to have slipped back just a little bit. They are bumping coming through turns 1 and 2. They're trying to side draft, and as we saw when you're in the car with the right-hand drive, it does mess with your depth perception just a little bit. You try and get in there and get the best side draft you can, and sometimes you bump. We see him already drop into the apron. Because of the downforce on these cars, as we mentioned, they can hold that bottom. They can hold left side tires on the apron. They are 3 wide, 3 deep, all the way around the track now. 2 laps to go. It is still Mike Killenbeck at the front, Dave Thomas on the outside, leaning hard on Killenbeck. It is just a gaggle of cars. You could throw a blanket over the whole field right now. Somebody's blowing up coming down the back straightaway. He's could not tell who that is. We'll find out here in a few minutes. We're going to stay with this lead pack until the end. And it looks like Doug Thomas has no help anymore in the middle. There comes Superman Norman Chan right up the middle. One lap to go. 3 wide all the way around. Can Michael Killenbeck hold him off? That's Brian Mansfield, I believe, on the outside. He was scored in second last time, and Doug Thomas was scored in first as he leans hard on Killenbeck. And loses a lot of momentum. Oh, they're getting really dicey. 4 wide. Got 1 car down in the grass on the back straightaway, but the front guys are still going. And we've got a wreck on the back straightaway. We'll go take a look at it in a minute. Superman Norman Chan is right there. And they are looking to make it 4 wide coming out of turn 4. The front cars are beating on each other. There's a lap car. It does not look like he will interfere up ahead. They cross the start-finish line. Looks like it's Killenbeck at the line. Barely, and they wreck. There's the big one. They made it to the finish. And Killenbeck gets yeeted to next year. But Killenbeck wins it. Michael Thomas finishes second in the 15 car. Brian Mansfield third. Mark Belair fourth. Superman Norman Chan brings home a top 5. Christopher Rawlings, Chris Standridge, Doug McLaughlin, Mason Neal, Michael Graynolds round out the top 10. Edward Belair, Doug Thomas, and Gerald Thanos Poole and Thomas Rule the third. They come in. They round out the top 15. And that was a crazy finish. We'll see if we can get anybody into the broadcast booth to interview. See if any of these guys come and talk to us. And let's try. let's try and go look at the replay of that last accident on the back straightaway. Before we do that, let's take a look at the crash at the end as they cross the start-finish line. Here they come 3 wide. And right as they cross the line, they're all leaning on each other, extremely heavy. It looks like the 95 just came up trying to get something extra, and they went flying. See if we can find the crash on the back straightaway. Looks like we had somebody drop. Trying to see who that is, dropped down to the inside. This should give us a good view. It looks like that is a couple of guys managed to get around that and make it to the final accident on the front straightaway. And we'll take one more look if we can. See if we can get a different angle on the grand finale crash. We're going to ride along with Superman Norman Chan for this one. I do believe that will give us one heck of a view. As they come to the start-finish line, I do believe it's Norman that gets tapped, and yep, there they go. And Norman rides the fence there for a minute. That was some impressive racing. The fact that they made it that long without a caution was truly impressive, and the fact that these guys do this week in and week out. We're going to take one more angle on that. We will watch it from this angle looking backwards, so we'll be able to see a little bit more of the incident happening behind. As you see, it looks like the 95 is looking low, can't get a hold. He's trying to move up and just taps the 15 and chain reaction. And of course, yeet. That was some truly impressive driving, and we're joined in the booth by Thanos himself.
Yes, sir.
That was a great race, but right there towards the end, Gerald, you kind of dropped back there a little bit. What happened?
I didn't have enough fuel, and I was afraid to snap my finger and keep myself in it, so you know, it was what it was. I actually, down to, probably 10, 12 laps, thought that I had a shot at going all the way. But then I was just praying for a yellow. And instead of causing it, just pulled out of the way, dropped to the back, took a splash, finished in the lead lap. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
Daytona.
Yes, it is. You ran into kind of the same situation last time we were here, I believe.
Yeah, I'm an old dog. I don't learn new
Don't learn new
tricks
tricks.
very well.
I'm the same way because I've done the same thing multiple times.
Well, idiocy, idiocy.
Yeah,
Keep doing it. It'll work out one of these days.
and it probably will.
Well, how many times are you going to race at Daytona in these cars and not have one yellow?
This is true. You guys did an outstanding job. The only accidents were on the last lap on the back straightaway, and then the big one right at the start finish line.
Yeah, got to steal a couple three places there at the end. The fortune of not running out of gas. Just take a splash and take your beating and go on.
Well, that was great. Looks like you finished about 11th, so that's a great start to season 3 for sure.
Yeah, I had some pretty terrible finishes last season, so it's Daytona. I expect to, if I'm in the top 10, I'm happy. So we'll go to the next one.
All right, man. Well, we'll be talking to you again next week, I'm sure.
All right, thank you, man. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Gerald. That was Gerald Thanos Poole. He came home 11th, but he is one of the most exciting ones to watch. And great group of guys and some great racing here tonight from the Outcast Independent League, the Michael Greenald's Radical SR8 series. There is your winner, Mike Killenbeck. Great drive by him, great finish, and definitely some entertainment post-race. We'll definitely put some clips together from the end of this race and from the practice session where Superman Norman Chan was driving backwards, just because it was awesome. Got to give a shout out to him as well. That was some talented driving. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in next Monday night. We'll have the Dirt Track Series here at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, immediately followed by the 358 Big Blocks, and we'll be back here again next Wednesday night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great night.